Hi everyone, I'm Toluca from Markers and Minions, and this evening's video is going to be a planning video for Unit 2, and I'm going to be filling out the K1 templates focusing on first grade. So if you are a first grade teacher, California or national, you can follow along with me. Kinder teachers, you can follow along as well. Your skills will just look a little bit different, but we'll be going into the same areas of the TRS, so you're able to just pull out your specific skills from the same place because the layout is going to look very similar. Okay, so the way that I'm doing it tonight, and it's a little bit different, and it's a test, so it might flop, but we'll see. I'm going to be planning digitally, so I am going to share my computer screen with you, and I'm going to open up the digital TRS and fill out my templates by typing, okay? So that I don't have to keep holding up my template. So we'll see how it goes. If it's terrible, I'll never do it again. So I will be showing both the California and the national TRSs, and then I'll kind of show you like how it looks online versus I'll try to explain like where it is in your physical TRS. So if you're planning with your physical one, you'll be able to follow along as well. But it's just, if you haven't planned using the online edition, you should check it out because it's kind of easy. It's easier to navigate. It's easy to click to different sections of your manual and find what you need. So that might also be like a nice little introduction for you tonight. So let's see, I'm going to switch to my share screen, and the first thing I'd like to show you, and let me move this over there now. Okay, the first thing I'd like to show you is just this list that I have been just jotting. I was planning like for the last hour, just doing this ahead of time and noticing the main differences. When I did planning for Unit 1 first grade, and kinder really too, I wasn't too, and I'm still not like an expert on what the differences are, but I went into it tonight and I have a little bit more of an understanding of the changes that were made in the national edition. So what I noticed in California, we have shared reading every day. So, and that's in addition to the phonics, phonological awareness. Your shared reading is every day, and it brings in a ton of different skills that are around everything, really. Comprehension, phonics review, language review, concepts of print, unit concepts. It's just kind of like your catch-all. And that's every day. Now, whether or not you do it every day, California teachers, is another story. But and then also, the decodable reader is brought in on days 3, 4, and 5. Day 3 for California, it's like kind of barely brought in. It's really emphasized more day 4 and 5 from what I can see. And then on the opposite end here, national, you have the shared reading on days 1 and 2, it looks like. And it's I don't even think they call it shared reading. It's called like we write, I write, something like that. It's the student consumable though. So that's what our student consumable in California is called, the shared reading book. So it's that equivalent. And that's days 1 and 2. And then from what I saw, days 3 through 5 is only the decodable reader. Okay. I feel like this is probably what California teachers are doing too. I've heard that they don't typically do shared reading every day, even though it is allotted for every day. But yeah, so that's one difference that I noticed. And then with writing, California, there's different writing every day. And then national, there's different writing weeks 1 and 2. Week 3 is process writing, and it's an opinion. Okay. So let's get into this. I'm going to minimize this now. This is my typable template. This comes in just that main free download that's on TPT. And it's just the version that you can literally type into. So I kind of like this for myself. But yeah, it's in there if you'd like it. And just for today's purposes, I'll be typing in the plans. So here are the online TRSs. So this side is California, and then the side is national. In the middle, I have my own website, just kind of dividing the two. So where I always like to start is, well, first of all, click on your TRS, right, if you are doing this online. You'll open it up, and the way that I like to start is by plugging in the essential question. So how do we learn about characters? And I went ahead and did that already. So it's the same for both editions. Now, I'm going to click on skills and strategies and show, actually I changed my mind. I'm going to click on week 1. So week 1, California teachers, this is what we're used to seeing. We've got our reading mini lessons, writing, and then phonics and phonological awareness down here. National, you've got the same information, it's just presented differently. So looks a little more like this, and you can tab through each day. Okay? So, and a lot of the skills and strategies are exactly the same. So when we're planning today, it's going to be nice. We're not going to have to hop between the two editions very much. All right, so let's see here. Now what I've done is I've broken it down by phonics and phonological awareness, reading skills, the build vocabulary strategy, which is one of the reading skills, and then the language skill here. So up here, this is kind of where you can put your, all of your phonics, the focuses, what you want to focus on with your phonics lessons. It becomes, I noticed with Unit 1, it becomes a little bit redundant because you're for the most part following the same sort of sequence. One day it's blending, another day is segmenting. So there are some slight variations. So you can list those here, or you can list your shared reading lessons. So it's kind of up to you how you'd like to use this space. Now the reading skills are only going to be the comprehension lessons that go with your mentor or extended reads. Okay? And your language is, of course, your grammar that's embedded in your writing. So let's take a look here. Now, like I said, California, we have shared reading every single day, and to me, this is the most overwhelming part. When I look at this, I see all of these different things to do with your shared read, and for me, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, well, what's going to be my main focus for Monday? If I'm going to get to this at all, what's my main focus? What's my main focus for Tuesday? And so that's kind of why here on your actual weekly plans, there's not that much space, right? So when I was planning Unit 1, I tried to pack everything in there. But as you're moving along with the program, I think you're going to be able to decide what you want your main 1 or 2 focuses to be. So I'm going to start with the phonics down here. National, it looks like yours is all together here. Okay, and I'm going to just start plugging in some of these skills. So, I've got my spelling pattern is going to be short E for the week. Then I'm looking here on day 1. I see that we're going to be rhyming. Then I see my high frequency words there. Okay, and then my spelling words. I'm not going to type those in. I also see day 2, phoneme blending. Okay. Then day 3, I see substitution. Let's see, and then segmentation on day 5. Okay, so like I said, this part here, if you're just putting these phonics and phonological awareness lessons, it kind of feels a little redundant. So if you make your decisions, maybe you want to plug in some of the things from up here as well. Why not? let's just go crazy and have fun. I see that week 1 for fluency, my focus is rate. I see my print concepts are directionality. That's it, I think, actually. Okay, and then we've got some spiral review. I see rhyming again here. I see a little bit of language, and then review dialogue. So I might write dialogue in there too. Review dialogue. Okay. So let's stick with week 1. We'll go to reading skills now. So our reading skills are going to be under the mentor read alouds. So in week 1, it's mentor reads. Weeks 2 and 3 are extended reads. And this is what it looks like for national. So what I see, like California is all in one place. It's overwhelming. It's nice because there's bolding and color coding. Here it's very simplified. I guess there's pros and cons to both. All right, so day 1, we've got key details. Always. I've got shades of meaning and describe characters. And I'm going to just take this shades of meaning lesson and I'm going to copy that and put that under build vocabulary as well, because that is the official vocabulary lesson for the week. Then I see another key details lesson. Hi, Gail. And I see another describe characters lesson. So let's just do that. All right, then I see on day 4, we've got the describe major events in a story, and then day 5 is the compare contrast lesson. So I'm just gonna write describe events and then compare contrast. So that is pretty much all for week 1, and the skills are the same for national. No differences there. And now the language skill is going to be singular nouns with matching verbs. I'm going to write nouns and verbs. All right. Hi, guys. I'm using my eCam software so that I could show my screen, so I can't see like your picture next to your comments, so some of you are anonymous. I apologize. All right, and let's see, week 2. So same thing, I'm going to start with my phonics. And I see that my spelling pattern is short U. And we've got categorization, blending, substitution, segmentation. So and let's see what we got from up here. So for fluency, it's going to be accuracy and using context. Directionality, again, we have genre features here. I'm going to write that down. Going over what a moral is. Okay, you can write down our high frequency words. Come here. This is what it is for week 2. Come here to, of. Okay. So this is what I have so far. Now my reading skills. So I've got the princess and the pea all week. So I've got key details, describe events, describe characters. So lots of review already, right? And then we've got multiple meaning words. That's our vocabulary lesson. And illustrations. So using illustrations. And I'm going to just take this lesson here, multiple meaning words. That's our explicit vocab lesson. And I'm going to put it there as well. And I see I have a lesson on setting, and then we have the compare contrast lesson again. Okay. And for language, the build language skill is going to be articles and demonstratives. Okay. Now, week 3. So here's the one of the differences I was talking about, and we go to week 3 for national. Week 3, you'll see now your writing switches to process writing for the whole week. So you're writing an opinion text each day. Okay, California, ours switches. Our writing is always what we're reading about that day, so it's always connected. If you wanted to do more of just process writing, there is the process writing handbook that you can refer to and substitute if you want. Okay, so is this week 3? Yeah. So our spelling for the week, L blends. Oh, thank you. That's a nice comment to see. Thank you. All right. And then I see we've got categorization, blending, rhyme, substitution. Categorization, blending, rhyme, substitution, was that it? Yeah. Okay. High frequency words, what, put, want, this, saw. Oops. What, put, want, saw. Okay, now let's look up at these shared reads and pull some of these out. So now the print concepts changes. The first 2 weeks was directionality. Now I see return sweep. Okay. Fluency is prosody and pitch. And we've got a little bit of comprehension here, review characters, we've got some language, conjunctions, okay, singular and plural nouns, just a whole bunch of things to choose from. Let's write review characters. Okay, if you're, side note, if you're typing your plans in, if you're on a Mac, Command E, PC, Control E brings up your properties bar where it looks like this, where you can change the size. so that when you print it out, it's all fitting in your box. Okay, now reading skills. Let's look at our gingerbread man. We've got key events, and this should be key events too. It's okay. Key events. Shades of meaning. So if you don't get to it in week 1, it comes up again in week 3, and that's our vocabulary lesson. We've got describe characters. So that spirals all 3 weeks because that's our big unit concept. Okay, here's an isolated lesson here. Identify sensory words and phrases. So far I can see that like in week 2, that use illustrations and the setting and the vocabulary, those are kind of standalone. The describing events, describing characters, that repeats. Obviously the key events and the compare contrast repeats. So if you have to make some decisions, if you're short on time or you don't get to everything, like those are probably going to be priority lessons. All right. And then here's describe events and then compare contrast. Day 5, week 3 is reflect on unit concepts all the time. And the language, if you look here, we've got articles, demonstratives, and then the nouns and verbs. So it's a review of the first 2 weeks. Review weeks 1 and 2 skills. Okay, so here's my unit at a glance. I'm able to see what repeats or what spirals in terms of my reading comprehension lessons. I can see also how my phonics is kind of going to unfold, what is going to be in my shared reads, how comprehension plays a role in the shared reads in some of the weeks there, print concepts, okay? If you're national, like I said, you're going to have less of the shared read lessons there because you've only got it for 2 days. All right, so now let's go into week 1, and here's where you'll put your text titles. Now, in California, the 2 texts are A Pet for Meg, and you know what, let me write California right here because I'll write both of them. A Pet for Meg and Read to Me. I wrote them down, cheat sheet. Okay, and then national, your text titles are Look in a Book and Little Red. And let me show you where I found those. So here we are, California. Here's A Pet for Meg. And then it switches day 3 to Read to Me. And national, you've got Look in a Book. See, it's called We Read and Write. So Look in a Book, and then day 2, Little Red. Okay, and so these are going to be what your focuses are. Day 1, you've got your focus is visualizing. You're going to do shared writing, and then it's going to be independent writing the next day. So it's the we do and then the I do transfer. And then day 3 through day 5 is going to be your decodable. All right. And then our mentor read alouds are The Ant and the Grasshopper, and Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, so because there's that difference with the shared reads for national, this spot here, and here, you can put whatever you want there, whatever makes sense for your day, your flow. Okay? All right, so, and a word real quickly about this template. This is going to be your whole class. These are your whole class lessons. These aren't your small group lessons. And I found that in my first year of benchmark, I was confused because in the TRS, there weren't the small group lessons. It never told me when to go into small groups. So it's sometimes you'll see at the end of a lesson, it'll say in small groups you can do this, or it gives a suggestion. But I think ultimately you decide what flow works for you, whether that be like teach a mini lesson and then break off into a small group, come back, do another mini lesson, small group, mini lesson, small group, or 2 mini lessons, a small group, whatever makes sense. It's not gonna tell you in the TRS. So I remember that confused me at first. Okay, so our phonics for week 1 was gonna be shorty. And the spelling words are down at the bottom here for California, and national, yours are nice up here, easy to find. Oops. Okay. So I see R, beg, fed, jet. R, beg, fed, jet. Let, look, mess, neck. Nope, neck. Cell and 10. Okay, our high frequency words, I'm going to copy paste because I have those already. Are said to look and my. Now my phonological awareness. So here's where you choose from the buffet, right? So in my planning earlier, when I was planning ahead of time, I decided that here might be a good time to introduce your spelling. So intro, your short E spelling pattern. Oh, sorry. And your high frequency words for the week. And then for California, we have handwriting practice. So you can weave that in there. And also, this is a good follow-up, like for small groups. So if you don't finish this whole group time, that can be something the kids are working on in a small group independently. So they can start it with you and then break off. Okay, now for shared reading, I decided that I would focus on just my fluency day 1, so rate and pausing, and then print concepts. Okay, my meant to read key details, and then we're always writing about what we're reading about, so write key details. And you're bringing in, what is it, week 1? Nouns and verbs. So let's put a little asterisk, or let's just write focus, nouns, and verbs. And I'm going to Command E and make this a little smaller so it fits. Okay. So see, I'm making the decision to not do everything. And I'm deciding like what makes the most sense on day 1 for my class and the flow of my week. So day 2, I'm going to focus on the blending and high frequency words. So from here. For my shared reading, day 2, I'm going to annotate. So this is going to be different for national. For day 1, your shared reading is going to be like your visualizing and your shared writing. Day 2, visualizing and independent writing. Now for California, we've got this annotate piece. And in that lesson, let me just go into that real quick. Annotate. So they're taking out their My Shared Reads. You're going to annotate a key detail, and you're going to find some short E words, and you're going to circle them. And same with your high frequency words, okay? So that's what I mean by the annotate day. Okay. And then day 2, mentor reading, we've got Shades of Meaning, and we've also got the characters lesson. So since my describe characters lesson comes up, see, even more than once this week, comes up here, and it also comes up all throughout each week, I think I'll focus just on Shades of Meaning. And then when I'm doing my writing, my shared writing, you're focusing on writing about a story character. So it's kind of it's a crossover, right? So write about a character. So they're still getting that character lesson, but maybe it might not be necessary to do it in both spots there. Okay, day 3. Hi, just first grade tonight. Okay, day 3. Substitution, high frequency words. This is where we bring out our decodable. We can also pull from up here, maybe have my focus be rhyming because that's the first time that comes up. All right, let's put rhyming here before I forget that. That's kind of all I want to do for that. And let's go into that lesson with the decodable. Segmentation, blending. There's that handwriting practice again. Maybe, that's ambitious. Okay. And then my mentor read. We've got the key details and describe characters. I'm going to do just describe characters, since we already did that first key details lesson on day 1. Now writing is write a dialogue. And I went into this lesson, it's the same for both editions, and you are going to be analyzing the characters at the same time because you are writing about how Little Red feels. So you're analyzing her feelings there. Okay, and then let's see. We've got the next day, I have this here, phonological awareness, because this is a shared planner with Kinder and First, and Kinder has phonological awareness every day. In first grade, there isn't the phonological awareness piece on day 4, but you can just write in what the decodable focus is. And the decodable is going to be get well, red hen. And in this, you're going to be bringing in blending, the high frequency words, and there's also the comprehension connection. You're welcome. All right. Now I'll go into my shared read, and like I said a few times, national, you won't have shared read on days 3 through 5, but for California, we have the annotate lesson again. That's only on days 2 and 4, so I want to make sure that I get to those so that the kids are getting that practice, that opportunity to write in their consumable. And then we've got describe events for comprehension. And the writing was write a new ending. Is it driving anyone else nuts that I'm like capitalizing some and not capitalizing the other ones? Sorry. Okay, and day 5. So day 5, that's right. There's a ton for phonics. Let's go into that. There's substitution, blending. You're going to do a spiral review. High frequency words, spelling test, plus the decodable again. Let's choose a couple. Let's do substitution and blending. Maybe put one of those, have some of those be independent. I'm not going to do the spiral review. Let's do, what are they doing in their decodable? So fluency, that's a good opportunity for that. Okay, let's say we'll do the spelling test. And then maybe this can be a nice independent task where they read the decodable and work on their rate. Okay. Shared read, let's see. You see review dialogue, review language. Let's put review dialogue because we wrote dialogue a couple days prior. So let's just review that, touch on that. And then this is going to be your compare contrast lesson. So that little connection symbol, so where they're using both mentor reads from the week and they're doing a compare contrast on that. And then writing is write an opinion. So your day 5 is really packed. Okay. So I'm going to stop there because the other weeks are going to be the same. So you're going to make those same sort of decisions there where you focus on maybe 1 or 2 things to get to. And if you have more time, great. You can go into all of the other lessons as well. The only difference between the next couple weeks and what we just planned is that there's going to be 1 extended read instead of 2 mentor reads. So that's it. You're using the same text all week long. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you've got questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'll be around to answer them. If you want me to take a screenshot of these specific plans, I'm happy to share them. But yeah, I hope that you feel that you can kind of use this to be flexible and schedule in the lessons that are going to be the most meaningful for you and your kids. So what I put here might not be what you put on yours, and that's totally okay. So anyway, hope this helps, and I will talk to you guys soon. Good night.